Wasn't it the Phantom Ruby they wanted to introduce at the same time as Infinite, but they introduced it earlier so that way it would be a pre-existing concept for some players when they introduced it in Sonic Forces?
Yeah.
So it's almost like they creamed the Phantom Ruby because Cream did it first.
So I got one question on my mind, Lycos.
Okay.
Is Cream dead?
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. We're talking about Cream the Rabbit today. So like, where do we first find Cream? Because my first experience with Cream the Rabbit was in Sonic Heroes. And I don't recall seeing her anytime before that, except when I played Sonic Advance 2 on the Game Boy. But I don't know which one came first.
So when they were originally designing her, they actually designed her for Sonic Heroes, except they wanted to kind of implement her earlier into the series. They put her in Sonic Advance 2 so that way players would be familiar with her. So when they reintroduce her in Sonic Heroes, they'll be like, oh, hey, I know this character. I recognize this character.
That's a good point. Okay, so Sonic Advance 2 came out before Sonic Heroes, and they introduced Cream in Advance 2 as a means to introduce the players earlier to the character before she was in like a mainline game.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's also kind of interesting. Like, she was not originally going to be a rabbit. Like, they bounced around a bunch of different ideas. I don't know if you saw this image here. We have an image of some
there's a little concept art.
So there's like one where she's like a cat, like two different types of squirrel it looks like. One with like a normal squirrel tail and one with like a kind of messed up tail. And then they have one where she's still a bunny, but her ears are like a propeller. Like
flat.
Looks like.
Yeah. I saw.
And so I'm scared. So her flying is just her spinning and then she shoots off like a sky dancer.
Yeah, because I guess right now, like the way that Cream achieves flight is by flapping her ears.
Yeah.
But in this concept art, it makes it seem like she'd be spinning them like a propeller, kind of like tails.
Cream the Rabbit, banned in households for being an extremely dangerous toy. Are you familiar with sky dancers?
I think I'm vaguely familiar.
So it was basically like a doll with like foam propeller blades, and you put it on this base, you pull the string, and it launches up in the air. They are not very accurate, and they ricochet all over the place. There's actually a video of someone like launches it, and it immediately like flies into a fireplace.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like these things straight up got banned.
I have this image in my head of pre-concept Cream propeller launching into a fireplace.
That's what I was thinking when I said that. That's
No,
what my
but you know
brain
what?
conjured.
But you know what's funny? Cream is not depicted as being like, let's say, like a supersonic warrior like a lot of our other like more mainline characters, but she has like a number of uncanny abilities, and I'm inclined to think that if Cream wound up launching herself into a fireplace, she would survive. Only because there is a section on the wiki here.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Specifically says that Cream has on record survived atmospheric re-entry.
Yes!
And I don't know what this is in a reference to.
I want to know where that context is, but I couldn't find it either.
It says that this is reference number 27 in Sonic Advance 2 in the ending sequence of the game. So is that how the game ends?
I didn't.
Spoilers?
I didn't play Sonic Advance 2.
I didn't get that far in it, but apparently she shoots back down to Earth like a meteor.
Eggman is just sick of her, so he just yeets her out of the death thing, and she just bullets to
Eggman
Earth.
was the kid playing with the toy, which was Cream in this case, launching her instead of towards the ceiling or the fireplace to right back down to Earth.
He skydanced her back to Earth.
Pew!
That's actually not the thing I thought you were going to bring up. I thought you were going to bring up her healing ability.
Oh, sure. Yes, because she's got an uncanny ability to heal as well, apparently by what is it, flapping her ears?
The power of kindness. Because Mama Vanilla raised no savage. Cream is polite as all heck. She constantly refers to people as like Mr. or Miss. They even kept that in Sonic X because she constantly she would refer to Eggman as like Mr. Eggman.
All things considered, just a very young and polite young rabbit.
Yeah, good on you, Vanilla.
And I see the quote here for this skill, which apparently makes an appearance in Sonic Battle for Cream's ability to heal, is it heals damage through pureness of heart. She's just that kind that she could just heal. That's beautiful. It's so wholesome compared to, what were we talking about last week?
Blaze the Cat being dead?
Oh, no, after that.
Sonic Schoolhouse?
Oh, no. After that. Do you remember the Tails doll?
Oh, yeah.
Evidently, Cream has come into contact with the Tails doll.
Yeah, I remember reading
In the
this.
comics?
Yeah, because she finds it in like a destroyed city because they're like leaving.
And like,
She just takes it.
I feel so bad for Cream. It just keeps happening to the young rabbits. She finds the Tails doll and realizes what it is. And this look of horror on her face in the comics is something that I can't get out of my mind.
Oh,
Not-
no.
Oh my, I know, right?
Oh, no. That is the kind of look that like you see that in anime and you're like, oh, no. Someone's like either mind broken or actually, no, mostly mind broken. It's either like violent rage or a worse rage.
And not even that too, like things just keep happening to Cream the rabbit.
Oh my god.
In the Dark Mobius canon of, I want to say it was one of the other like pre-Genesis Wave comics and stuff, evidently you can just rip people's souls out of them and make them seem like lifeless husks.
Oh.
But what's left behind are these things called prelates. And so Cream's heartless body becomes this really awesome looking like metallic rabbit creature, which looks really cool. But
That's
if you consider the
Cream?
images,
Whoa.
yeah, dude. You have to get to this point by first being effectively killed, and there are a lot of images of various Sonic characters seemingly dead hanging from the walls in this comic series. And I don't want that image of Cream in my head. I don't want it. I don't want it.
I mean,
I don't want it.
It's called Dark Mobius for a reason.
Dark indeed. And in addition, in the more recent iterations of the comics, there's, I think, a whole saga in them where there's this metal virus going around.
Yeah, with the
and people
Zombots
turn
and
into
stuff.
Zombots. Not only does Cream effectively watch her mother being turned into a zombie and cheese and go into a deep spiral of depression, but I think she also turns into a Zombot
I don't know if
as well.
I don't know if she does, but I know she breaks to the point where she gets someone infected on purpose. So
that was Xena.
yes,
One of the
because-
Zeti.
Yeah, so basically Xena is like hurting Gemrel, who's basically the only family Cream has left at this point.
Exactly.
And she fights Xena and straight up like gets her infected with Zombot. No, she's
like,
done.
This also brings up another concept that I keep seeing throughout the wiki of like Cream is intended to be like kind, pure of heart, non-violent, very, very young and innocent, right? There is a line here saying that one of the reasons why Cream has her companion Cheese as her kind of offensive minion, so to speak, is so that she is not the one performing the violence.
Yeah, I did read that.
So instead of Cream the rabbit being the quote unquote violent one, no fighting, no punching, no kicking,
It's
but
Cheese.
chuck a chow, and that's apparently fine.
Because Cheese is the doom guy in this case. Cheese is the one who will go mess you up, but Cream is just the innocent little rabbit. Oh god, that does relate horribly to Doom Guy. Oh god, I did not
Seriously,
see that.
though, right?
Because I want
But
to
I
say
love-
he originally like starts being like the super violent thing is because someone kills his rabbit. I want to say that's actually a thing.
Connection between Sonic the Hedgehog and Doom. And then wait a minute. What is it? Remember the connection between Doom Guy and Isabella from the Animal Crossing series?
Yeah, they did love doing
I think
that.
she's a dog, right?
Yeah, she's a dog.
She a dog?
Yeah.
Okay. Slightly different series. Okay, but we have connections. Everything comes back to Doom. Not Black Doom, by the way.
Shadow, where is my rabbit?
Wait, actually, that sounds weird out of context.
I didn't know she made an appearance in that game because I thought she would be too innocent and pure for this. I forget that
does
once
she?
she's in the intro for the game, I'm 90% sure she is. And yeah, there's a mission where the good guy quest is Shadow helps Amy find Cream because Cream is lost in, I think it's like a haunted castle or something.
Oh my gosh.
Which, yeah, I wouldn't want her there because I'm pretty
Why
sure
do
her
things
canon
keep
age
happening?
is still like 6. We
Yeah,
don't-
she's a child.
Except apparently the comics just love breaking the 6-year-old. Thanks, guys.
Hey, you know what? Nothing gets pages to flip like childhood trauma. Thanks, Sega.
Where are you, Hedgehog? I wasn't done trauma dumping. Thinking about like Cream's relationships, because obviously like she's very kind-hearted and she tries to have like a special bond with not only other people but also like other animals and entities as well. To the point where in Sonic Free Riders, there's a new E1000, E1000B because it's blue,
Ooh,
and
the blue one.
someone calls it a piece of junk.
I feel like that was Shadow.
It was either Shadow or Knuckles. It's one of the two. And Cream gets upset at them for it. She's like, hey, man, that's just mean.
Dude, because she's she's the kind of person who's gonna fight for her friends, and like bullying's not cool.
Listen, man, Cream is the epitome of like, don't bully kids. Bullying's not cool. Like a 6-year-old
Also-
knows this. Going back to the original topic though, so she has this bond with Gemerol because after the events of Sonic Advance 3, he like lives with them and basically becomes a part of the family. And I think that's part of the inspiration for in Sonic X, when we get Emerald, she has this kind of bond with Emerald to the point where when Emerald goes berserk, it's actually Cream who takes him out. She
No
is
way.
crying as she's doing it because she saw Emerald as her friend, and unfortunately it's the only way to protect everyone is to stop him. And the one thing that Emerald could copy, because basically Emerald can't copy her because as he's trying to copy what she's doing, Cheese blocks the way and he needs line of sight to copy. So he can't copy because it keeps getting interrupted. The last thing he copies was her crying as she kicked him into the ocean.
And there's another thing to say about Cream's general kindness to just everybody, dude. If not for the fact that even at the very end of, what was it, Sonic Advance 3 with Gemerol was broken in pieces, and Cream was like, Tails, can you fix him? And then he became like a part of the family.
Yeah, because Tails like, yeah, I can reprogram. Cheese helped, apparently. Probably with like bringing
fair.
him tools
Yeah.
and whatnot. That's what I expect. Yeah, it was
Cheese
like
is secretly a genius.
a little bit of a group effort, and yeah, he became part of the family.
I love to see the concept here of Cream is really nice to other people, and even in the comics when we see like the whole Zombot apocalypse thing or whatever, Gemerol is like protecting Cream and her family as best as he can.
Her kindness,
which I guess is kind of a reciprocity
still
thing
in
too.
that Zombot era because she encourages people to not hurt the Zombots too badly because she's like, outside them being Zombots, they're innocent people. They shouldn't be hurt.
She's just so wholesome.
She is the wholesome little bunny.
I love her.
One thing I love in terms of design, she is supposed to be Amy's equivalent of Tails.
Fair.
But Cream doesn't feel like that.
No.
Like, the moment I read that, I'm like, I can see it, but that wasn't my first thought, like, learning the character. And I think that just goes to, like, how well she was, like, written and everything, because she doesn't feel like Tails. And I love that.
There's a particular foil between like Sonic is a little egotistical, a little brash. Tails is not really egotistical at all, I would say,
No.
but still a know-it-all and very, very like smart. And the dynamic between Sonic and Tails is not the dynamic that we see between Amy and Cream. Like, I would say there's almost like a big brother, little brother aspect between Sonic and Tails. And although Amy kind of is almost a little like big sister like to Cream, their relationship is kind of like brash, kind of like Amy's relationship with almost everybody, I guess. Because she can be a little aggressive at times.
Yeah, but
We've even seen on record of Cream and Amy kind of getting into fights in a way.
yeah.
'Cause, Amy's a little...
But I feel like that actually
Amy.
kind of adds more because, like, siblings sometimes they butt heads. That's just how siblings are. But even
That's a
though
fair
they butt heads, like, they still love each other. Give them a minute to cool off, and they'll go back to being how they were.
That's fair. And I think the wiki does basically say that, at least in terms of Cream's relationship, like Amy is basically her best friend. And so I could see that being the case a little bit more so. You helped me see the light on that.
And it's very funny with how prim and proper Cream is, because another one of her close friends is Blaze the cat.
Oh yeah, the princess,
Yes.
who's not dead,
Yeah, the princess who is not dead.
very much alive.
It's kind of funny just reading this wiki how it's like, yeah, Cream was basically Blaze's tour guide in the beginning, but then over time, like, Blaze kind of sees Cream as a friend, and Cream is like, hey, you should get the help of Sonic and Tails. And when Blaze meets them, she's like, nah, I'm outie, bye. And Cream is like, hey, you should get the help of Sonic and Tails. You should get their help. Just in case, like, she kept doing this, like, because she's like, listen, if stuff is gonna go bad, Sonic's gonna be the guy who saves the day. Because
She's such like a team player in that case. You're right, because what she's doing is she's like, no fighting. Let's all be friends, right? Just talk to them a little bit, please.
Yeah, and Blaze is just like, no, I can do this by myself. And Cream's like, but they can help you. They're really good at that. It's what they do.
Something that's bubbled up in my head.
Yes.
Consider the kind Cream the rabbit, right? The potential frail young child figure. I think she's all muscle though, like 100% muscle.
Actually, that would track because I'll use the instance of Sonic Heroes. How heavy is Big the Cat?
I don't know. I want to think that he's light and fluffy in the inside, but I've held fat cats before.
Oh, and they
Big
are
is
chunky.
a large cat.
Yeah,
Chonky.
and
He's a chonky boy.
She can lift him with him holding her legs and Amy and still be able to fly just fine.
We also see an excerpt in the comics too of her just being able to just like fly away, like with her mother holding on to her, just like with absolutely no effort at all.
Yeah.
I understand that there's probably a bit of a kind of suspension of disbelief here for exactly how strong this rabbit is. And maybe it's not necessarily how strong the rabbit is, just how strong the lift force of flapping her ears actually is.
Yeah, like,
But the wiki does also make mention too of there are other powers that we see like Cream use, like for example, the spin dash, for example. And they mention it specifically as being maybe more of a game mechanic, more so than the canon ability of hers.
mhm.
And that got me thinking about the other instances we see of powers in the games and whether or not they actually represent something that is inherent to the character or it's us fitting the character into a sort of template that is required for the gameplay experience.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Of course, my brain goes back to Sonic Heroes, like Amy doing like a homing attack. That was not a thing she could do in Sonic Adventure because she has a completely different gameplay than Sonic. That's what made hers really fun. Like she can fling herself gajillion feet in the air with her hammer.
One of my favorite things about playing as Amy in Sonic Adventure was the bonk with the hammer.
Zero runs up behind you. You're like, no, you don't. Bonk and run.
I'm a Pico, get the heck out of here.
Oh man, she is legitimately one of my favorite characters to play in that game. And I wish she had more stages.
I want to say that there was something else on one of these pages as a means to say that, like, kind of like how Amy is supposed to be a character that's a little bit easier for players, that Cream is also one of those more easy to play characters in the games that she appears in. Although I don't have much experience beyond, I guess, a little bit of Sonic Heroes, Sonic Advance 2 a little bit, although I didn't play, I don't have a lot of memories of playing as Cream in Sonic Advance 2, so I don't really know.
I don't know how that would apply to like other games she's in that I've played as her, like the Sonic Riders games or even the, 'cause I was gonna say the Olympic Games, but no, I believe in those she makes cameos, but she's not actually like a playable character.
I was seeing too that there are other mentions of Cream being considered like an easy character to play, and one example of that I found was in Sonic Runners. There's apparently different types of characters, and Cream is considered a flying type character, but also an easy type character as well. And what that means in the context of this game, I don't really know because I'm not as familiar with it, but it's kind of like a tier system. And apparently the other quote unquote easy characters are Big the Cat and Silver the Hedgehog.
Oh yes, my favorite Team Rose. You know, Cream the Rabbit, Big the Cat, Silver the Hedgehog.
Classic.
Amy's not beginner stuff. She's experience. You need to know all your Sonic lore to be able to play as Amy.
Amy is type Rose in that game. Like type easy is its own thing.
And type Rose is its own thing. Actually, that's good for her. She has her own class.
Heck yeah, dude.
Good for you, Amy. Who else is in that class?
On Rose, we have Amy and Blaze. I think that's it.
Oh, interesting choice.
Specifically, because there are different versions of characters. It's Gothic Amy's, Amity style Amy, regular Amy, and Blaze. And apparently, we were saying Silver is an easy character. ESP Silver is considered a future type, just like Mephiles, the Dark.
It tracks, it fits the chips. I will say, I thought like anyone who would be in like a Rose type would be like characters who use like weapons. I mean, it's probably for like a gameplay perspective of like their classifications, but my brain, when I thought like a Rose type, I'm like, oh yeah, like anyone who uses like a tool because Amy uses her hammer. And I'm like, Blaze does not fit that because she uses her flames, and that's not tool use, baby. That is natural ability.
And come to think of it, you also point out something interesting about the characters in, let's say, Team Rose of Sonic Heroes using tools. Nobody on Team Sonic or Team Dark have quote unquote tools.
Oh yeah.
But Amy's got a hammer, Big has a fishing rod, and Cream, I guess, technically has cheese as the quote unquote tool in this case.
I literally just was thinking that.
Team Chaotix doesn't really have anything either.
No, SBO. Because he does the shuriken and the kunai.
That's fair.
Charmy uses his butt, so no, that doesn't count. He's a bee, dude.
Thorax. Lycos.
It's a butt.
Thorax.
If you ask a kid and ask them, where's the butt on the bee, they're gonna point it at the thorax. It's a butt.
And if you ask a kid, where's the thorax of the bee, they're gonna look at you confused and be like, thorax? That's Mr. Thorax. Have some respect.
I'm sorry, Cream. All right, you gotta back the heck up. Cracks knuckles. Okay, sorry. Please don't hurt me.
It's time for you to back the heck up, Mr. Thorax.
You gotta pay me what you want. me, or Mr. Lore's gonna have a couple less teeth.
Don't make me have my friend Amy bust your pico kneecaps. Dude, now I'm thinking,
James,
so
get the
actually,
pliers.
another thing that I wouldn't put past Cream, in the comic series, she functions as a, like, co-captain or whatever of, quote, the United Army?
What?
I do not know who the United Army is, but I wouldn't put it past Cream to also be like the head of some like underground mafia syndicate.
No, she's the Godfather themselves. Because it would be great because you wouldn't expect the kind, innocent 6-year-old to be the head
Seriously?
of a crime syndicate.
You would never
work.
think of it. But yeah, evidently in
How dare
the
you
Worlds
talk about
Unite
my
saga,
family that way?
this is the Archie comic series post Super Genesis wave during Worlds Unite saga. Cream is helping to command the unified army. I don't know if she's a captain or not. I don't
Okay.
see a uniform, so.
Then I would assume no. Also, that's still terrifying that they're letting a 6-year-old help command a army. Like, unless they did like a time skip and she's not 6 anymore.
I wouldn't put it past Cream to also be at the head of an underground Mobian crime syndicate. You don't talk to me that way. My mother raised me better. And I can raise you better.
Listen, if you don't follow the rules, Jesus is gonna have to get nasty with you.
Chow chow! Cracks knuckles.
Actually, they can't. Do Chow have
think Chow even-
bones?
I don't know about that. I mean, there
Because-
must be some sort of bone density mass inside of the chocolate chow or cheese, because how else is it supposed to make a good projectile?
Speaking of, I did not realize with Chocolate Chow, like, their role in this family, because there's a role to play. Oh god, this really is a mafia. There's a role to play in the family, because Chocolate Chow is Vanilla's partner companion and keeps her company if Cream is away doing adventures with Sonic or whatever. I read that up and I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
So that's why they got two little chow pets. One's Cream's chow and one's Vanilla's chow. Well, which chow does Gemrel get?
Gemrel can have Oma Chow.
I don't like how much I agree with you right now, Lycos.
I agreed with myself, and then I'm like, I would pity that family because they have to deal with him. But then again, they already kind of deal with it because in, I believe it was Sonic Battle, we have more Oma Chow based weaponry because Cream
Wait, what?
has Oma Chow flash mines.
I'm sorry, another Omochow based weapon?
Yes, it's a flash mine.
Oh my god! What?
Who is making
The Cream Cracker? Cream's ground trap. The Omochow hides until an opponent passes by and emits a bright flash of light to surprise them. It's a flashbang! What the heck? And they look like Omochow! What is up with all of the Omochow based weapons? We had an Omochow gun. We had an Omochow bomb now. What other Omochow stuff do we have?
Listen, man, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we have like Oma Chow riot gear, Oma Chow stun batons, the Oma blade, which is like a sword, but the blade is shaped like Oma Chow's head.
The Oma blade.
There is the Oma blade! Who is making these weapons though, and what is their problem?
The Oma warrior.
I would laugh if in some secret, like, abandoned Eggman fort, like, Sonic walks in because he's hearing lights and sounds, and he just sees, like, Oma Chow's, like, on an assembly line, like, making new Oma Chow-based weaponry.
Mass produced
Sonic,
these
you know too much!
this image in my head of somebody finding the Omochow facility and finding like the secret laboratory where they're just making things and Omochow-fying them. like you look in the corner and you see Cream the Rabbit just strung up there with an Omochow head on, and it just turns and looks and goes, "Help me, Mr. Sonic!"
Or,
no, poor Cream!
the one I was thinking of, Oma Chow's making their version of the E100 series. So it's like Gamma, except instead of like the torso, it's just Oma Chow's head.
The O100.
The
O stands
O100
for
series.
Omochow.
Oma Chow is actually trying to conquer the world as a part of Cream's family. for the funding to create these weapons.
I'm an inside agent. Okay, dialing back from Obuchi.
We need to go back a little. This is too much.
Oh my god. What else do we have for Cream the Rabbit? I see that Cream the Rabbit, like a lot of other characters, can also use color powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And specifically the cyan laser, the yellow drill, and the indigo asteroid. And do you recall, like, when we were talking on a previous episode, it might have been about Blaze or maybe one of the other episodes that we saw specifically those color powers again?
I believe that was when we were talking about Omega in the
okay.
100 episode.
That makes me think that I think one of the racing games features color powers as like power-ups on the field. And
well, yeah, it has to, because that's where we got the Jade Wisp.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking as well, as they are power-ups in the game to, like your racing power-up.
Yeah. Again, I don't see like a source on this page or wherever we saw it previously that specifically mentions in what game like she uses the color powers, but it stands to reason that if you are organic or inorganic, wisps can willingly or in some cases unwillingly give their power to whatever.
That's actually interesting because specifically in the Nintendo DS version, she does make an appearance in Sonic Colors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she has a cameo appearance where Orba and Cubat are harassing her, trying to capture Cheese because they think Cheese is a type of wisp. So obviously, like, Sonic shows up and stops them.
Naturally. And that makes me remember, too, that in Sonic Adventure DX, I think when you're done with the casino parlor, you can see Cream kind of flying around that section of Station Square as a little cameo as well.
Yeah, and she actually also has a signpost that you can find. I'm pretty sure it's as Knuckles in where the stage where you fight the Egg Hornet, I believe it is. Like that little platform right outside of Tails' workshop. If you dig in a certain spot and you come out, there's a little signpost that has a picture of Cream and Cheese on it.
So she makes a lot of appearances. Couple of cameos, but she's also like one of the core characters in the franchise, so she just kind of shows up when everybody else shows, like in the I want to group certain games like Sonic Dash, Speed Simulator, Dash Plus and stuff as like games where we get a lot of characters. I don't really have a term for those kind of games.
Okay.
But like she tends to appear commonly just like a lot of other like mainline characters like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, for example.
Now, my question for you is, would you include Generations in that? Because in the beginning of Generations, isn't it like Sonic's birthday party where everyone's there? And funny enough, Cream and Cheese are there. Cheese is actually in the process of giving Blaze a cupcake when all the stuff with Time Eater goes down.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, for sure. Now, oddly enough here, too, I also see that Cream has a relationship with this character named Aliem.
Yeah, I was reading up on that. Aliem is some entity in like a dream world that basically Eggman found a device to like access it, and his plan was to control the dream world and somehow use that to conquer the world. So he captured Cream and Cheese and wanted to put some like headpiece on them to, I guess, experiment. Of course he captures the 6-year-old girl. Apparently it's the only person he can actually capture consistently.
Dude, Eggman should be on a list.
Eggman can't beat the 8-year-old fox with the gadgets, so he goes after the 6-year-old bunny with the chow.
What a schmuck.
I mean, if he wants to go after another child, I think the only other child we have is the 6-year-old with a job.
Is that Charmy B?
Yes.
Charmy B is also 6 years old?
Yes.
Alrighty then.
He has a job.
The kid with the thorax.
I feel like that means Vector should be on some kind of list as well. I don't think that's illegal for a 6-year-old to work, though.
I don't want to pry into the legality of the Sonic the Hedgehog universe.
The police force of the Sonic world just come up to the chaotic store. Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
It's like, this is the police!
The coconut gang like busts through one of the windows. They're getting rolled and stuff.
Oh gosh.
Wow, what the heck, guys? I didn't do anything. That's what they all say.
I swear. I kind of have a crush on her mom. That's all I got.
That's what they all say. You'll answer us down at the station, bub.
Tell it to the judge, Vector.
Oh, I mean, she's quite attractive.
SBO, Charmy, Cream, and Cheese just kind of look on as he gets taken away in cuffs.
That's not what's he talking about.
So where do we find ourselves here? Cream is evidently a lot more powerful than we give her credit for. She's super kind, and she gets picked on by everybody.
Yeah.
All the bad guys.
But things still end up playing out fine for her because not only is she strong, her kindness gives her connections like crazy. Famous heroes, former enemies. Everyone loves Cream.
Dude, do you think we'll get to see Cream in the Paramount movies?
Personally, I doubt it.
I wonder, and I'm not trying to give any spoilers. However, based off of what I know now, I feel like we might see her. Maybe even just as a cameo.
Yeah, because my thing is, I don't know how they would incorporate her into the story, and plus, like, I know, like, we don't want to introduce too many characters too quickly, otherwise the film might be over cluttered. Like, if they do more spin-off stuff, maybe in those we'd get her, and then they incorporate her into the movies. Like, that's the best way I could see that working, but that would be cool. Again, I would love to see more Sonic characters in those movies, because I like seeing the team that does the special effects on those characters are great. Like, they look fantastic. I would have loved to mention, just because I thought it was funny, was Rouge trying to teach her crime. So while visiting the White Park Grand Chateau, Cream helped Rouge and Amy obtain some parts for Omega, and Rouge was basically trying to persuade Cream that was fine, because it's like, we're not hurting anyone, we're not doing anything bad, it's fine. Cream not believing her at all. And then Rouge continued setting a bad example by giving her tips on how to successfully rob hotels with rich guests.
I want to see the confrontation between Vanilla and Rouge. Because from what I've read, Vanilla raised Cream to be polite, and she is kind of strict. And I want to see her absolutely smack Rouge for being a bad influence on her little girl. How dare you teach her crime?
What were you saying to my little girl?
Oh my gosh. And Rouge is a bit of a fighter too, so I got a feeling that a scuffle might occur.
Ooh, that would be such a fun match to see.
I'm backing away from that. I'm backing away from that.
Wait a minute, what is behind you?
Well, you mean this?
That's supposed to be Vanilla and Vector?
I've been playing Sonic X Shadow Generations on my live stream at Cameron with an X, and I may have been talking about the episode that we're recording today, and we started talking about how, Vanilla and Vector, may or may not be a thing, and chat's convinced that they are. I don't have any canon information that they are, but
I don't think it's ever been canon, but it's been a constant that Vector has a crush on Vanilla. I mean, again, that's why in Sonic X, he never charged her for any of Team Chaotic services. Partially because trying to get in good with the girl he likes.
And I didn't know of any sort of like canon connections that we saw, but apparently, and I was pointed out by one of my viewers, so shout out to Fox out there for pointing this out, that in issue number 66, or somewhere between the issue 60 to 80 range, there is this progression that we see between Vector and Vanilla, just kind of getting close to each other. And to your point, Vector getting kind of flush in the comic series, guys. I know you were mentioning this, the show series.
Also, I just want to bring this up now that she's almost twice his age.
Hey man, we can dive into the nuances of that dynamic in an episode on Vector the Crocodile.
Yes, perfect.
I think we're at the end of the episode. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know, Lycos. I feel like we got two different directions for this. We could continue going down the rabbit hole of projectile Omochao, or dive deeper into the personal, intimate world of the crocodiles in your life.
Or maybe not the interpersonal connections of the crocodile, but perhaps the crocodile's business.
Ooh, I see. We kind of try to keep personal business separate. You see? Are you implying Chaotix?
Yeah, they're great. I love those guys.
I like Knuckles Chaotix.
Even though Mighty's haven't seen him in a while.
Who's Mighty? I don't remember that guy. Is he still on payroll?
Or I'm gonna quote myself here, Army. I can't believe I thought that was his name.
I just imagined Mighty the Armadillo with just gigantic arms.
next time, Chaotix.
I love that. I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
that.
that'll be fun.
So-
Thank you guys for listening. I am Lycos Lore, the Game Fusionist. You can find me over on YouTube.
And I'm Cameron with an X. You can find me on Twitch or YouTube, live streaming and playing Sonic Shadow Generations right now. So pop in for a spell and a drink.
yeah.
Until next time, y'all. Stay creamy, chat.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I don't like that. Nah, I don't like that either.